And so, without any further ado, I'm going to bring our guest on, Ron Horner. Ron, I'm glad you're here. Such a blessing.
Thank you. Good to be here.
I know that there's some that taught, that you had to go through all these steps, and if you messed one up, you had to go back and start all over, and it was very legalistic. And I know when my wife and I were looking at this, we're just like, I think God has set the bar so low that we trip over it getting into heaven. So it's not like, yes, there are protocols and things, but God's not trying to make it difficult.
Right. And there are protocols, like you said, but if you mess up, he's gracious. The widow in Luke 18, she knew that she could come back over and over until she got it right. If she needed to go back in court, she could go back in court. She knew that she had some promises about that. And it's the same for us. Matter of fact, heaven makes it even easier because in our journey in the courts of heaven, we found out that there was a help desk. And I can just go and say, this is my situation. Where do I need to go? And they'll walk me through the process of going to where I need to go and getting things taken care of. So I don't have to know a whole lot, just know enough to step in heaven and ask for the help desk.
Right. Yeah.
Then work from there. Well, I like one of the definitions of the ecclesia was those who recognize their sonship. Then they can become a governing legislative body on the earth, where we're operating from that perspective. You can't operate that way without having a courts of heaven paradigm. And so that's the reason it's come up in the last few years, is because the church needs to build on that. If we don't have a courts of heaven paradigm, it's awfully hard to do legislative work, which is a court function, without that understanding. So heaven brought that about so that he could build on it. And, a lot of our focus this past year has been on recognizing your sonship and embracing the sonship and moving into that, learning to live with your spirit forward as opposed to your soul being in charge, which is how most of us were raised. We were raised with no concept of our spirit, but plenty of concept about our soul.
Yeah.
And so when we can learn how to live from our spirit, then it's a lot easier to do all these other things with the sonship and becoming the ecclesia.
Ron, 5 minutes. What is the last thing you'd like to say to everybody, just to share with them something from your?
Well, as I said earlier, the Lord's been helping us build sonship into the folks that we're working with. Now, being in the Bible Belt, as they call this part of the country, not everybody's into the sonship thing. Yeah. They just don't see that. But as we're learning that who we are and who he's made us to be, is building things in them. We have constant reports from people who tie into our Tuesday night mentoring class and our Wednesday platinum meetings that we have, and our ecclesia that we meet with on Sunday. And they're seeing their families being changed, their homes being changed, their job situations being completely renovated, learning how to build their business from heaven's perspective as opposed to the way we've been doing things.